wasn't able to come, and they'll be able to follow up later. Please, if you have questions as we go along, can you put them in the chat column? In general, as there's several different presentations, we'll have the presentation, then the questions for that one, then move on to the next one. Just to explain also, we're all part of the Third Sector Support Wales, TSSW, and all the 19 county voluntary councils of Wales are part of that network. So you'll sometimes see the logos of TSSW and sometimes of individual county voluntary organisations. With no further ado then, I'm going to ask Rhodri to kick off, and he's going to talk to us about Volunteering Wales, the funding, the Knowledge Hub and the funding portal. Over to you, Rhodri.
Prynawn da, pawb. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I'm on the beach in Aberaeron. It's quite a nice day here. It's a bit breezy, but it's quite good. Yeah, I'm the head of digital services at WCVA. So part of my work involves looking after some Third Sector Support Wales portals, which Sarah has just explained the term Third Sector Support Wales, TSSW. She did forget that there are 19 CVCs and one other organisation, so she forgot that. So I'll say that the other organisation is WCVA. So the Third Sector Support Wales is 19 CVCs and WCVA who come together to do some Wales-wide stuff around the third sector. That's probably the quick and easy way to explain that. So today, as Sarah said, I'm going to talk to you about 3 portals, just give you a quick overview of each one. So we're going to start off with the Volunteer Wales portal. So hopefully, as this is a digital meeting, we should get everything sort of right, really, but fingers crossed. So hopefully you can see the Volunteering in Wales website. Can somebody nod and say yes? Yes, that's good.
Yes.
That's always a good start. So like Sarah said, if you've got any questions as we go along, we'll try and pick them up in the chat and try and answer. You know, there'll be an opportunity throughout for you to ask questions, and I'll try my best to answer them. So the Volunteering in Wales platform is, well, it does a lot of things, and that's probably its downfall, really, but it tries to do a lot of things. One area is that it's a place for people who want to volunteer to look for opportunities. So that's quite an important aspect. So that's why you'll see that, you know, slap bang in the front, there's an opportunity to search for opportunities. And then with that, you know, obviously there's a lot of organizations on this webinar today. Providers can put their own volunteering opportunities up, but that is only a small aspect of what the portal can do. It can also, for organizations, you know, you can fully manage your volunteers through the portal as well. But just to give you an idea, we've got around 1,700 providers registered on the portal. And in the last year, around 24,000 volunteers have registered on the portal. Obviously, when the first lockdown kicked in, sort of March, end of March, beginning of April, then there were a lot of people that were registering, looking for volunteering opportunities, obviously to help in their communities. So there was a big peak in April with people of last year wanting to help. So what it allows volunteers to do, and it's difficult to know, you know, who the people are on this call today. I assume that I would think they're mostly organizations, but if we did have volunteers, so for instance, if you wanted to look for an opportunity within 5 miles of Carmarthen. We also allow, we've seen a lot in the last 12 months, a lot of opportunities for volunteering as well that people could do, obviously from their home within the confines of, within the constraints of lockdown and stuff. So there have been opportunities there. So it's quite simple to do a search. So we're going to search for an opportunity within 5 miles of Carmarthen. It's always good doing live demos, isn't it? So obviously we didn't do any, there are more options to search here, in various categories and various tags and various things, but we just did a simple search and it just come back with all these volunteer opportunities. So then you can click on more on the details to get more information about these opportunities. If somebody decides to join, then they will have to register on the site. So it's a good idea to get people to join on the site as well. So that's basically from a volunteer point of view. So obviously they can register and then they can log in and look after their account. From a provider's point of view, I'm not too sure if I click on that tab, what's going to happen. So when we look at a provider point of view, can you see demo provider now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Because sometimes when you share the screen, it sometimes only shares one tab and stuff. So this is what a provider. So this is it as akin to a sort of organization. So this is what an organization would be. So they can have their own name, they can have their custom profile, they have their address. They can show on a map where they are. They can also fill in some registration fields. But what this allows them to do once they've registered as a provider is it allows them to put opportunities up themselves, which then usually get approved by the local volunteer centre. Each local volunteer centre has also got their own sub portal as well, where they can do a bit more targeted approach for their sort of local volunteering opportunities. So this opportunity has got, this provider has got some opportunities, but it's quite easy to add an opportunity. The provider can just go create opportunity, and it asks some usual questions, what the opportunity is, description, and any skills, so a standard thing. And once that's posted, then the volunteer centre approves it, and then it goes live, and hopefully people that are searching will find that volunteer opportunity. For those organisations that are operating, bilingually, then obviously you can, the site is fully bilingual, but you can put your opportunities up bilingually as well. So that's where we are with the volunteering in Wales portal. I'm just going to pause there just to have a look at the chat, just to see if there's anything about lockdown special. Received an email. If there are any specific questions about the volunteering Wales portal. I know it's quite difficult when you've got only a few minutes to talk about quite a complex portal, but obviously, you can register as a volunteer, just have a look around, have a browse, the site's there on that. Has anybody got any questions relating to the Volunteering Wales platform before I move onto the Knowledge Hub?
I don't see any in the chat, but maybe just a plug. If you're an organisation that's not registered, do think about registering if you're thinking of using volunteers, but also spread the word, amongst friends, families, associates who might want to volunteer, that they should register.
Yeah. So what I'll do is as well, I'll put the for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll just put the link in. I'll just put the link in the chat because you might not have seen it on. Oh,
There is one question that's popped up, Rodri. Managing your volunteers, how secure is the platform?
it's secured through an SSL certificate, so it's all encrypted. So all the information, you know, there are data protection statements and stuff, but all the information secure. It's based on servers inside the United Kingdom as well, so it's not in some sort in a far-flung place, shall we say.
We've got one more question. As a small charity, we may have a small opportunity for uploading content to a website. Is that applicable?
It probably is, because if I just share back the if I just go back to the provider screen I was on and share it, you can have a custom profile. I don't know if you can see it. It's where my arrow is at the moment, but you can have a custom profile there. So that could be your organization name. So that could be like a, you know, if you're a really small organization, that could be your gateway to your organization. That helps.
So that was from Alan. Okay, there's nothing else coming up.
Okay, I've lost my. Oh. Okay, so that was volunteering in Wales. So the next one that I meant to be talking about is the Knowledge Hub. So what I'm going to do to start with, I've got a short video that I'm going to play, which gives you a bit of background to the hub. So that's the first plan, and then I'll give you a demo of that site as well. So I hope that's useful. I don't know if I don't know even know if my fellow panelists have seen that video. I don't know how common it is, but I managed to get hold of it anyway, and I think it's probably work in progress. But I think it gives a good introduction, really. Certainly, when I was sent it, I thought this is a good introduction to the hub. So I'm just going to post the address of the Knowledge Hub in the chat as well, and I'm going to share the screen.
I think, Rodri, there's already a request that we in the county voluntary councils can use the video.
Yeah, I'll check with I'll check with Wendy about who can use it, but I don't think there's a problem with sharing it widely, not wildly. I think both are guesswork. So yeah, so hopefully everybody can see the welcome to the Hot Knowledge Hub. You can look around some part of the site without registering. However, I'm aware of some changes coming up that we will be requiring people to register to see more areas of the site. So the best thing is to register to start with, and it went through, how to register. It's quite simple to set up an account. So for organizations that were used to looking for things like information sheets, you've got this area called resources now. So if you click there, so as the video said, TSSW tries to filter its work at the moment into what we call the 4 pillars. So there's engagement and influencing, good governance, sustainable funding, and volunteering. They're the sort of pillars of what Third Sector Support Wales does. So we've got each of these pillars, we've got like information sheets. So there are all sorts of information sheets, and they get added to quite regularly. So I know this one's a popular one, safeguarding and good management practices. So you can access this information at the moment, as I said, without logging on. But I think in the future you will have to register to get that information, which is, it doesn't take that long. So the other area is as well that it's got online learning as well. So we've got some courses on here at the moment that you can do in your own time. So there are a few courses there that you can register and do those courses from the comfort of your own home or on a beach somewhere or wherever. So there are a few courses there, and as time goes on, we'll be adding to these courses as well. So I think this is a good one. Recognizing volunteers, that's quite a good, and measuring impact, that's quite a good course. And of course, there's the Future Generations Act. So there are some good courses on here that people can do online in their own time. And then the other area is your network. So this is a space to connect with people who are doing the same sort of things as you or running the same organization. So there are some groups here. There's a good governance group. I know there's somebody, I think there's somebody on this call from Aberporth Community Hall or something. So there are various bits here about resources to support trustees with quality and diversity. Somebody's asking for a Welsh language policy. So, it's a good place to interact with others who are in the same boat. So you're not alone. And if you want help, but obviously, your local county voluntary council, so either PAVs or CAVs or CAVO will be able to help you as well. But if you don't, if it's nine o'clock at night and you want some help with something, then just post it here and see what comes back, really. So that is the Knowledge Hub. I don't know if Jamie has put Knowledge Hub is great, really good resource. Yeah, I think obviously Sarah and Cheska, there's the thing there that if all the links could be shared. I think that's probably quite easy to do, I would say, afterwards.
We definitely
yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
as follow-up.
And obviously the recording will be shared, I assume, as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, have a look at the site. You know, I put the link in the chat. Have a look, have a play with it, see what you think. And if it's useful, then let us know. If it's not useful, also let us know. But it's a resource that's maintained by Third Sector Support Wales for the sector in Wales. So it's a tool that needs to be used, really. So
It's fairly new, isn't it? It was started, it launched in June last year, and more things are being added all the time. I find, you know, I think I know what's there under governance, but then come back in and there's 2 or 3 new things. And a lot of the information sheets have been hugely updated and added to. So a lot of work's gone in to make this directly useful, and lots of new topics as well. And I think we want to encourage people to join in the engagement section in particular. That was a bit slow to start with because I think it's a new
anything new takes a bit of time to get up and running, I think. And you know, there's more content on there now, there's more registered users, so I think we just want to get people on board, really. So, and I'm also being chased now as well, really, to go on to the funding portal. I'm nearly at the end of my half an hour. I know we started at about 12:35, so I'm sure we'll just do quickly Funding Wales. So again, Funding Wales, I'm going to put the link in the chat. So we call it's funding.cymru. So I need to put all the powers in these, so I'll put that in the chat. So this is the place to look for funding sources. Really, again, I would suggest that you register first, because you can see so much, but then it will force you to register. So my advice would be just register first, and then you can get the full benefit of the site. So it's got, I just looked this morning actually, it's got 783 funds on at the moment, and there are over 10,000 registered users on the site. So it's again, it's been around for a couple of years. It's gaining popularity. We're trying to get more funders on board. We've started a new thing of trying to get funders to update their own information as well on the site. But from you know, an organization point of view, or committee members or trustees, you know, looking for funding can't be any easier. So if we just do a search for arts, culture and heritage, I don't know, Cardiff, in the drop down, and then selecting amount, say 1,000 to 10,000. There's a few additional options under there. So obviously you can put additional options in if you want. So there's, depending on your type of organization, just to try to narrow things down. But if you just press the find funding, it will come back with some schemes that match your results. Obviously you can click through then and get more information on those funding schemes. You can also download them as a PDF. So if you're if you're a secretary of a village hall or whatever who wants to take a list of funders to next committee meeting, then it's quite handy to be able to sort of download them as a PDF or print them. You can also create shortlists as well, because not all funds will be suitable for your organization or the activity you want to fund. But when you click on them, you can, using this star function here, you can create shortlists, and you can add the fund to your shortlist then. So if you created a shortlist, say, I don't know, village hall funding, you can add funds as you create the shortlist. As you go through the funds, thinking, oh, that could be suitable, or that's not, you can star those and then create a shortlist. So at the end, then you can just print out the shortlist as opposed to printing out, you know, there's 36 results there. I would think that, you know, less than half of them are probably suitable exactly for what you want. And then you can sort the results. There's a bit of information about latest news on funding as well around the site. There are some, if I go back to the home page, So not just, most people visit it for the searching thing, but there's a bit about latest news about funders. So this is posted, you know, if new deadlines are announced or new funds. So it's just an area worth checking, really, where they're highlighted. And then if people are doing events and stuff, so it's pretty good. It covers the whole of Wales. Have we got any questions? I know I've sped through the funding portal, but to be quite honest, it's relatively straightforward. So register, search, apply, get some money, hopefully. I'm just looking quickly on the chat. Are there any questions specifically around the funding portal? No?
I don't see any, Robbie.
I just add in, it's really interesting. You said there's 783 funds. I mean, we tend to think of all the common ones like National Lottery, Awards for All and whatever, but there are so many quirky, unusual family trusts and foundations. You know, they're throughout. And if they're relevant to your particular interest in your organization, you know, they might be a funder to see you through 10, 20 years, a funder to develop a relationship with. So do remember there's a huge number of potential funders out there, and this is a great gateway to find out about them.
I'm just going to actually prove something here now, because this is the admin bit. You can't see this publicly, but when I looked this morning, there were 783 funds. So since this morning, and when I've done this presentation, it's got up to 784. But that just, so I'm not lying, that's the figure at the moment. So a fund has been added in the last, I would say certainly the last 2 hours. So thank you. I've done my whistle stop tour of 3 portals. I hope it's been useful. Obviously, if you need any help, contact your local CVC, obviously either in Carmarthenshire or Ceredigion or Pembrokeshire. If you've got specific problems with any of the portals, then each of them have got a sort of contact us as part of them. Just use those. We are here to support people in the use of digital resources, because it is a growing trend and it's an important area, and the tools that we've got now really do help organizations. So it's not just a case of having digital tools, they are really useful tools. So thank you for inviting me, and I'll stay on the line if there are any questions as we go along. I'll answer them I'll try and answer them in the chat. But diolch, thank you.
Sarah, you're muted.
Right. Thank you very much, Rodri. Now, can we move on to Melissa Townsend from Powys, Pavo and Powys?
Thanks, Sarah. Pnawn da, good afternoon, everyone. So I've got a quick presentation just to take you through on what InfoEngine is, and then the uses and benefits of InfoEngine as well. So I'll just share my screen with you. Just checking you can see that. Yeah, brilliant. So first of all, what is InfoEngine? So InfoEngine is the online directory of voluntary community charitable services across Wales. So each CVC within Wales has access to their local area and is able to support you with any issues you might have with registering or updating your information. When you register on InfoEngine, it enables any individual to go onto the website and search to find that local information for them. So individuals themselves don't have to create an account in order to search for the information and the services that are available within InfoEngine. So in terms of the uses of InfoEngine, as we were saying around that search, so this simple bar here allows you to put in any keywords. So what you're looking for, whether that's a lunch club, mental health services, you can put those keywords into that box and then put your specific location. and then change the distance. So depending on how far you're willing to travel, you can put that into that box and then click search, and it will populate the results that are most relevant to the information you've put in. InfoEngine also has a shortlist function like Funding Wales does. So you do need an account in order to have a shortlist. But once you've registered an account, you don't have to register an organisation and service against that account to have that shortlist function. You can then just go and search with just a login using your email address and setting up a password. And then each search, you can add those particular organisations and services that you're interested in to a particular shortlist. So if you wanted to look at meal provisions and also food banks within an area, you could do multiple searches, but then add the relevant organisations and services to your shortlist to then be able to go back to that. And if an organisation updates the information in between, you're able to just go to your shortlist and that will automatically update for you to see that information without having to complete another search. And so to register, it's just this register now button. And again, that's where you'll go through and be able to add your organisation and your services. InfoEngine works on a service search. So the reason we ask for your organisation information is if you do have multiple services that your organisation offers, it enables anyone searching the site to be able to link to your organisation and see what else you offer as well if they've found just one particular service. So in terms of searching, we've gone through this, the keywords function, but there's also an option to search by location and category. So if you just click the search button, this little option here comes up on the left-hand side, and within the browse, you're able to search by the categories that are in the system and then by the county. So at the moment, you can only add one category and one county. You can go into more detail if you're looking particularly for a town or village, and under each county there is a drop down selection. You can just select just a town or village and then populate the information that is against that category. So in terms of how the InfoEngine search works, for if you are adding information onto the site, you want the most relevant keywords within your title, and then it will start searching the description after that. So for it to appear higher, the keyword needs to be in the title, but if it's also in the description, it will pick that up, but it will be lower down the search. So in terms of registering, it just takes 3 steps. So we have that create an account. So when you've created an account, you're then offered the option of whether you just want to create shortlists, and then you can go back to the search page and add those shortlists, or you can continue the registration and add the other 2 steps, which is registering your group or organisation. And that's very simple. We just ask now for contact details and the name of the organisation, and there's the ability to add a logo and social media links as well to that organisation page. And then following on from that is the registering of your services, and that's where we ask for a bit more information, a description of the service, how people access it, your opening times, and specific information that's relevant to that service. There's also the opportunity to add a leaflet to your service, and you can have that available and people can go and click on that to see additional information that you have already. So that can be a PDF or an image. So in terms of the benefits of InfoEngine, by registering, you're increasing your digital presence. We do have a link with DERIS as well that enables you to, as a third sector organisation, you can register your information and click a button that asks you if you want to add that information also onto DERIS. DERIS is a statutory public sector version of InfoEngine that has additional services for statutory organisations. So you can have that information automatically duplicated across without having to register on both sites. And that's a simple tick box. Particularly for smaller groups, it's enabled them to use their website address because it's specific to your organisation and service. So the / shows your organisation or service depending on what page you're viewing. It enables you to use that link to specifically send people just to that information. So that works well. If you haven't got the capacity to have a website, you can actually use that within your social media pages and set your services as individual website pages for the information that you want to provide for those searching. As well as social media pages, it also allows you to add groups. So within your service, you could link your Facebook group to that page, and then people can find that group and actually join that from the InfoEngine page. So you can personalize your information, so you can add a logo. If you've not got a logo, it allows you to add an image. So as long as it's within the size and pixels, that image can go there instead of a logo if you are a small organization without a logo. And the leaflet can be a poster. It can be any form of document as long as it doesn't exceed the size of 10 megabytes. It gives individuals another way to find your service because of that keyword search. If you've put your information in there, they might pick up your service using a keyword for something else and then find your service as well. And then the shortlisting as well, that's a really useful feature to then not have to go back and complete searches again and again. So in terms of when you've registered on InfoEngine, this is just a mock-up of a page, so you could see what a service would look like. So if you've added a leaflet, that appears in this little area here, and that's simply just a click, and that enables you to then view that information on the screen. Once you've viewed an organisation, you can also add it to a shortlist from that page, not just the search page. And you can see down the side here the categories that have been against it. So if someone was searching and searched for, in this case, Powys, and looked for funding, this organisation would appear. And then you can see the contact information down the side, and the social media appears under the email and website. You can then clearly display your information about what the service is about, and then the opening times and access options appear under those as well. If you don't select anything or put any information into those two areas, those don't appear on the screen. So if you don't put information in those, you won't get an opening times heading or an access options heading. It would just be the body, the text body that would display. And again, the information can go on bilingually. So as you can see here, this is the version of the site from the English side and from the Cymraeg side as well. So it displays it exactly the same, and particularly with the keywords. If you're putting the keywords in, do try to ensure that you can put those bilingually, so that those that are searching on the Welsh side do pick up your services as well. We do have some how-to guides that go through the registration process. So very just simply takes you through those 3 steps for registering, and I'll circulate those to the team to share with you all. And we also have guides for editing information as well. So one of the things we do find that we are looking into is people knowing where to go back to edit their information. So once you've created an account, there's a little sign in and register button in the top right. And by clicking that and adding your account details, it enables you to go back in and edit your information for your organisation and service. So these are just some useful tips in terms of making your registration stand out. Adding an image just gives something, some personalised touch, so people are aware of who you are or have some visual representation of that. Adding some form of document, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a leaflet, that poster or document with a bit more information is just really useful to have on that service page. Adding your social media, so if people aren't sure about using your service, they can go and have a look at your social media and see what's been going on there, how active you are, and kind of get a bit more of a feel for your organization. So include as much text as possible. Don't have just a one line of this is what it is. Just make sure that you do break up that text so that people have that information in paragraphs and smaller blocks, simply entering down that information so that people have information in order to then contact you, rather than a kind of one line sentence that doesn't quite explain what the service is. And so we've talked about including it in both languages. And then something that individuals have said have been really useful in terms of just adding a quote or something that a service user or client has said within your service description. So you're not only getting the organization's information, you're getting some feedback. Individuals are getting some feedback to others' experience in order to then contact your service for support. So that's a very kind of whistle-stop tour of InfoEngine, and I'll share the how-to guides and the link to access InfoEngine. But if you do need any support registering, either your local CVC can help, or I'm happy to be contacted as well.
Fantastic, thank you, Melissa. Have we got any specific questions for Melissa? I think with all of these, there's been such an effort to make them easy to use, both as an organisation registering to tell other people about yourselves, or as a potential user.
Can I just mention that actually InfoEngine is linked to DAWIS as well. So some people are promoting DAWIS for health and well-being side of things. So if your organisation is on DAWIS, click the button to say that it can be shared with InfoEngine, and the other way round as well, so that we get that really good directory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in terms of just, I've seen a couple mentioning the widget, and that works really well if you integrate that into your website, because it means people can search without actually leaving your website. So they don't leave your website until they actually click one of the links that the search results show. So they're able to complete multiple searches on your website page, and it's not unless they want to click to directly see that information that they would then actually be directed away from your page.
Diolch yn fawr, Melissa. Okay, let's move on to Lee, who is going to explain the Connect platform.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to give you a quick, what is it time, 1:20. I'm going to give you a very quick guide to the Connect platforms in West Wales. I'm going to be using Connect Pembrokeshire for the guide platform, but there are platforms with the same URL, but with the appropriate county name in both Carmarthenshire and Ceredigion as well. Hopefully in just a moment you should see the front page of the Connect Pembrokeshire platform. Do you see it? Yeah, okay, good. So yeah, this is the front page of the Connect Pembrokeshire platform. These platforms are fully bilingual. The bilingual operation is this little flag in the top right hand corner, and if you want to see any of the platform pages in Welsh, you just click that flag. The front page of the platform is a kind of introduction. So we've got a little bit on all of the features that I'm going to show you here today. This is the campaign that we've got running across all three of the Connect platforms in West Wales. Connect to Kindness, and you can find out more information about that by clicking through here and then reading the information. I'm not going to do too much clicking around on these pages because it takes a little bit of time to load up, and it's not really representative of the time it takes when you're actually on the platform itself. Then we've got some community activities. I shall show you those in more detail in a moment as well. And then there are also some member listings down at the foot of the front page as well. The main way of navigating around these platforms is using this large purple button in the top left called Explore and Do. And if you click that, then you can see links through to each of the featured areas. The first thing I'm going to show you is the member list. The member list is the full list of everybody that's using the platform. Each Connect platform is open to individuals, groups, organizations and businesses, and everybody is encouraged to join and create a profile. And you'll be able to search these profiles if you're seeking to connect with a member, whether that be an individual or an organization. The activity stream looks very similar, but this is actually all of the activities that organizations have loaded up onto the platform. The activity list that you see here covers everything that we have. So we've got events, we've got community listings, we've also got offers and requests, because within each of these platforms is a digital time bank. And members are encouraged to share their time across either individual to individual or organization to organization. You can see here as a couple of offers that have been placed onto the Pembrokeshire platform. So somebody's offering to restore treasured photos if people have got sort of old black and white, and they can also be transferred onto digital means. And then the same person actually has offered organisations a professional logo, and that's all been offered through the time bank. So it's an exchange of time rather than an exchange of money for people who want to take up those offers. If you want to search through these, then the filters that are up the top, you can either search by just offers, by just requests, by just community listings, or just events. And by doing that, you just be able to click into there, apply that filter, and then the appropriate listings will arrive. If you want to add an activity onto the platform, then you'll need to register first. Registration is a really simple process, and if you're just registering as a member of the platform, then it's just as simple as your name and an email address. If you want to join the time bank to add offers or requests, then there's a little bit more in-depth application, and people are required to provide references and so on. But it's a very simple process for an organisation that's involved to add either a community listing or an event. You'll be adding the title of your activity and some supporting information around it, some images and so on to make your listing stand out. There's the opportunity to add further details around opening times, whether or not services require referrals. And then there's a unique feature on the Connect platforms is to activate the best match. When people join the platforms and create their profiles, they'll also tick boxes to show their interests and so on. The best match button on the activity stream and on the members list means that you can draw activities, events, community listings and so on that just relate to your profile interests. So they're in some ways then tailored to what it is that you want to do. Apologies, the Zoom thing is getting in the way of my screen share. The other feature, another feature that we've got on the platform is Project Teams. Project Teams is a feature where we encourage people, members of the platform, to come together and collaborate on changes that they'd like to see in their communities. So by joining project teams, you have access to chat rooms. Documents can be drawn into these project teams using Gmail, and then they can be updated live. The chat rooms in there are live chat as well. They've just changed over from message boards into live chat, but it means that it's much more akin to using something like WhatsApp or Messenger when you're talking to people via these teams. These then you can create task lists for people, and then people can tick off as and when they've done each task. Teams can be private or they can be public. So the ones that you can see here are public teams. Private teams don't appear in this list and are accessed via people's individual dashboards, which you can access through this Your Account button here just at the top. We also use the platforms to publicise activities and projects that are working within the county. So we create project pages around specific groups or initiatives that are being undertaken in each county. These are done really by the provider giving us the content, and then we'll create the page for each one of these. So at the moment, we're promoting the Pen Pal Exchange, which is being done in partnership with Time Bank in UK. But we've also got some features there around online games. There's something there about the VC Gallery, Age Cymru Dyfed. Now, some of these you'll note are Pembrokeshire specific. So the VC Gallery, for example, that just appears on the Pembrokeshire platform. But the Age Cymru Dyfed information is across all three of the platforms because it's relevant on a regional basis. There are lots and lots of different things that have been put up by various providers, and we encourage as many community groups as want to give us their information, and we can create pages around it. We also use another feature called News, where we're able to release information about different things that we're told about, and the main feature of this at the moment is the Connect to Wellbeing, the new digital app that's operating across Carmarthenshire, Ceredigion, and Pembrokeshire, and people can find out more information about that, and of course where to download it. I'd be more than happy to give a kind of more detailed and perhaps slightly less panicked run through to people if they'd like it. You can contact me through my email, and I'll put my email in the chat. And I'm also happy to take questions here now. Thank you very much.
So a lot of links have been added to the chat, but are there any specific questions? What struck me is, sorry if you felt you were galloping through, Lee, but what an incredible range of diverse things are going on that probably in the past would have been under the radar, but now, you can share and advertise or just give people ideas about what's going on through something like that. So, the work of the third sector is not just about the giant traditional charities like British Red Cross or Save the Children, National Botanic Gardens, but there's all these incredible, different, smaller, local things going on. If we don't have any specific questions now, I just would urge you to follow up the leads, contact any of our presenters today or the local County Voluntary Council in Ceredigion, Pembrokeshire. Diolch o galon to the four presenters. I've lost my counting ability. And can we just ask you to do a quick poll or easy question should come up on your screens now. I would say the panelists and hosts can't vote. And then a quick reminder about the last session tomorrow lunchtime. There'll be a regional update. The chief officers from Ceredigion, Carmarthenshire and Pembrokeshire are all going to give their update, and then a fantastic reward at the very end, a mindfulness session by Tammy. We've had a taster of this in Carmarthen and it was just wonderful, very cleverly delivered exercise. I think we were all lying on the floor and not wanting to come back to work afterwards, but definitely de-stressed a bit. Don't know if any of my fellow panelists would like to add anything else, but I think today's been a reminder that even if you can't come and ask us in the CVCs, there's a hell of a lot of support and help online. So please spread the word. We want to see these all used much, much more. If there's nothing to add, who presses the end button? Do I have that control?
No, I think I'll have to press the end button for you there, Sarah. But you know, a little wave bye-bye to all.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.